So you get anxious before going to work. You're afraid to speak up in meetings for fear of criticism. And you try to foresee potential problems 10 steps ahead and fix them so your boss can't get angry with you. If this sounds like your day-to-day working life, then you need to watch this video because you could have a toxic manager or toxic leader that is damaging your career progression and also your mental health. So let's dig into 11 signs of a toxic boss or a toxic manager so you can identify them before they become too difficult. Your boss turns down your ideas without even listening, understanding, or considering them. This makes you feel overlooked, ignored, or rejected during meetings. Over time, you stop sharing your ideas because you tell yourself your boss isn't going to care anyway. You slowly shrink back in your chair, dreaming of the day you're going to be more valued and more recognized at work. Have I hit the nail on the head with this first point? If you have experienced this and on multiple occasions, then you have a toxic boss. And this behavior is often linked to your boss making you feel stupid when you ask questions. Maybe they laugh, roll their eyes at you, or get your colleagues to turn on you by saying something like, "Yeah, that's a great idea we should pursue, isn't it, Bob?" These attempts to make you feel small, they probably work, and they're probably causing you an immense amount of pain and stress in the workplace. But be assured, there is nothing wrong with you. It is not you who is the problem. It's your boss who is the problem because you have a toxic boss. If you liked what you've learned so far in this video, then please subscribe to my channel. By hitting that button below this video, you really help my channel to grow, and you also help yourself by giving the opportunity to watch videos every week on leadership to help you in your leadership journey. Your boss doesn't acknowledge your success or your accomplishments at all. They have no problem acknowledging their own success or their own accomplishments, but when it comes to acknowledging that of their team, people like you, they don't do it, which makes you feel even smaller and more insignificant than before. Your toxic boss blames you or your co-workers for their mistakes. They don't take responsibility for their actions. If things have gone wrong, they don't take responsibility as the leader of the team, as the boss of the team. They don't take responsibility for tasks that haven't been done properly, even though they give you no training whatsoever to do those tasks properly. They don't take responsibility for deadlines that haven't been met, even though those deadlines were completely unreasonable in the first place. And you've even heard them talking on the phone to clients, complaining about how incompetent their team is. If you've ever entertained these thoughts, if you've ever seen signs of this in the office, then you have a toxic boss. And when you're in a team meeting, in what is supposed to be a brainstorming session where everybody shares their ideas or their thoughts, it quickly turns into an authoritative command center where your boss is the only person talking and you and your co-workers simply have to sit there, listen, and agree to everything they say to you. New ideas are squashed, and of course, people learn that there is no point in putting forth an idea anyway because it's going to be ignored. If this has happened to you, you have a toxic boss. But not all is lost. Your toxic boss may have one favorite on their team, somebody who gets all the acknowledgement, all of the talking space in meetings, and all of the glory as well, even though they only do 10% of the work that everyone else does. So you tell yourself, well, maybe you're not working hard enough. Then you try to work harder and longer and do more work so you can get that same recognition that the favorite does from your boss. But alas, you still get no recognition because you have a toxic boss. And sometimes your boss will even take credit for work that you have done. When you've been up until midnight, finishing that report that was so urgent and important, they put their name on it and claim the recognition from your hard work. Talk about feeling used, undervalued, or taken advantage of. This is what toxic bosses do. But when you think about it, when you have a toxic boss, you can't expect them to care about how you feel. They have no empathy. They have no consideration for your feelings. They don't want to make you feel more valued because if they do, the consequence of that is they themselves would feel less valued in the office. They would feel less important because they're raising you above them, and they can't have that. Lack of empathy is a big sign of having a toxic boss. And this is the biggest reason why nobody likes them. They've completely missed the mark on what a good manager or a good leader is all about. They don't understand that in order to be successful as a leader or as a boss, you need your team to like you, or at least you need them to not despise you. Good leaders understand that when their team like them, they will trust them and they will follow them. But unfortunately, toxic leaders were absent this day of leadership training. To compensate for a lack of trust in their team, toxic leaders might start to get aggressive. They might start to delegate aggressively, give feedback aggressively, communicate aggressively. They're feeling insecure and they think that by being aggressive, it's going to help them maintain the control and the power that they need. But meanwhile, this aggressiveness that you're experiencing, it's slowly helping you to detach from your boss, to detach from your job as well. You're becoming disengaged from the job and from your leader or your boss as a whole. You dread going to work every day and you start to actively look for another job, a better job, one where you're going to be more valued and respected as a professional, where you'll be recognized and appreciated and your work, the work that you do, will be valued by your boss and acknowledged by your boss. But you've been scarred by this toxic boss experience that you've had. You don't trust the next company. You find it difficult to trust the next job that you might go for. You're worried about getting people to like you. Maybe you show signs of being a toxic coworker. That's why you need to watch this video next, which will help you get your confidence up, build your confidence up so you know exactly how to get people to like you at work so you can be more confident in your next job, that you will form good relationships and positive working relationships with your new coworkers.